What's up? So today we will be on Supernatural, the season 7 recap. So at the end of season 6, we saw Castiel and envelop all those souls and become the new god. So this season 7 picks up literally right off from there, where the season 6 finale left off, where Castiel has now told Dean, Sam, Bobby that he is the new god. He is the new god, and they shall bow down to him or shall be destroyed. So Bobby does do it, and he convinces them to do it. But when Castiel's like, I'm not gonna. You guys just don't get in my way, and I won't hurt you. So Castiel beams out of there and goes goes to the angels and is like, "Angels, I am the new god, and whoever doesn't listen to me will be destroyed. But I will become a better god, just unlike our dad. So now, unlike our dad, I will become a better god. So will you follow me?" And then we see a bunch of angels just dead. Man, Castiel, we just see a dead angel thing. So Dean and Sam have to. So meanwhile, so Dean and Sam have to figure out what they're gonna do, and so they consider a plan. Meanwhile, Castiel meets with Crowley, and he's like, "Dude, I'm your new boss now, and you do whatever I say." And he's like, "Okay." So So Dean and Sam try to go to death, but Castiel realizes that he actually already aligned himself with death, and he lets death go. So there's been something going on with Castiel's body where these things are like contorting himself around him. There's something going on. There's something going on where these CGI things So Castiel goes to Eric Jackson from the 100 and convinces him to go to help him, and once he does, the gang sees that Castiel killed all those people are now dead. So they go to Castiel. Meanwhile, Sam is having his own lipid daydream. They go to Castiel. Meanwhile, Sam is dealing with his repercussion from the last season, where he develops all his memories from the Down Under, and now he's from down below, and now he's Lucifer everywhere. Lucifer's now in his head, taunting him. It's cool to see his actor come back. The guy who played Paul from Dexter come back to reprise his role, because he's a good actor, and he was a good actor on Dexter, and he's a good actor here. But anyway, so Dean and Sam go to Castiel, and they convince Castiel to do a spell that releases all the souls, but they discover that some souls didn't. The things some things inside Castiel start hurting him, and he's like, they're trying to get out, and he's like, who? Leviathan. Who's Leviathan? Who knows? But they burst out and possess Cass. So Dean's like, Cass? And he's like, no, Cass is gone. And he says, we're Leviathan. So, and they defeat Sam and Dean, but then in the second episode, they defeat Sam and Dean, but then go into the ocean where they split apart from Cass's body, only leaving Cass's trench coat. So Cass is now dead now. So meanwhile, Leviathan now spreads into the sewer systems, leading anyone who drinks fountain water to become possessed by the Leviathan. We see this little girl, and she drinks from fountain water until until it turns black and she gets possessed by a Leviathan. She gets possessed by a Leviathan. And she starts watching and the girl, the Leviathan possessed girl, the Leviathan possessed girl starts watching Dr. Sexy. So she goes who she thinks is Dr. Sexy, Dr. Gaines, and turns exactly into him. Yeah. She turns into Dr. Gaines. So now she's Dr. Sexy, apparently. So Dean and Sam are trying to So Jody Mills, Bobby and Sam's friend from the sheriff, is in the hospital when she sees the Leviathan, Dr. Gaines, take one of her friend patients and she sees it eat her. So she's kind of all freaked out, and so she teams up with Bobby to get her out of there, and they do. So Dean and Sam are in a battle with the Leviathan guy, but they crush under a truck. But Sam and Dean get injured, so they're sent to the hospital where the Leviathans are. While Lucifer taunts Sam in his head. While Lucifer taunts Sam in his head, and that's all we see of Lucifer for a while. So in episode 3, Dean and Sam are taken out of the hospital, but they're able to get out of there. Meanwhile, Sam discovers some notes of a serial killer that gives him flashbacks of when he was a kid, where he met this girl named Amy Pond, and they kind of became a thing. They kind of became a relationship. And yeah, so Dean and Sam are hunting this Kyuubi, or Kitsune. Kind of, like Naruto, from 9TS from Naruto. And they discover that Amy's the Kitsune. Her whole family is, because her mom was one. And she and her mom were hunting Sam and Dean back in the day, not knowing it was John. We're hunting Dean and John and Sam back in the day, not knowing it was them. So but the mom's about to hurt Sam, so she kills her mom to protect Sam and gets out of there. So meanwhile, in the present day, Sam meets present day Amy, who has a son, and she reveals that she's been doing the Kitsune hunt. She's been becoming a Kitsune again, and she and her son have been doing it so she can help her son. So Dean finds out about this, and so Sam tells Dean, and he's like, "She's my friend. Please don't hurt her." And Dean's like, "Hey, a monster is a monster." And when Dean and Sam go to the house, go somewhere, Dean says he has to go to the store and be right back. But instead of going to the store, he actually goes to Amy's house, and says about how goes to Amy's house, and he does one of the most sad. He does one of the most bad things Dean could ever do on this show. He kills Amy, and and people are just like, this is the most bad thing Dean's ever done. Like, and then he goes on to lie to Sam about it. He sees her son, and her son's like, "I'm gonna kill you," but Dean's like, "Hey, look for me up in the future," and leaves. And he goes over to his mom's dead corpse. See, and then he continues to lie to Sam about it for a couple of episodes. So, yeah. So in episode 6, Defending Your Life, people are getting snatched by a god for crimes they committed in the past. For crimes they committed in the past. And one of those guys, Dean and Sam were friends. So Dean's in a bar meeting with this woman when he's kidnapped by that Hindu god, by that god. So Dean discovers this, and he tells the man to stay there, but the man doesn't, and he later gets killed by the visions of the people they killed. So, yep. And so, yeah, so Dean and Sam are taken to this courtroom where this god tells Dean and Sam that, so the first witness he brings in is the ghost of Jo. In her supposed final appearance of the series, and she kind of and he kind of like, oh hey, did you love Dean? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, don't you blame him for your death? And she's like, no. So yeah, so we thought next, I was waiting for the entire episode for them to bring out Amy as Dean's like still guilty about killing her, but they never do. Like, what a wasted opportunity to have Sam know that Dean killed Amy, but no, they never do it. So in episode 5, Dean and Sam are so Dean and Sam learn about two bizarre cases and Texas and investigate. Yeah, when a construction worker is killed by a nail gun, Dean and Sam investigate and discover and talk to the owner of the place, Dawn Stark, played by Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And that's not the only Buffy the Vampire Slayer actress. His wife is Cordelia from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yes, this is a Buffy Vampire Slayer supernatural crossover episode, but they don't go by their characters on Buffy. But it's super cool to see them, and I love this episode. So, yeah, so Dean and Sam talk to Dawn Stark, or Spike, from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and he said, maybe his wife's involved, and his wife, Maggie, or Cordelia, from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah, his wife is named Maggie, and her Buffy the Vampire Slayer character is Cordelia. I love Buffy. I watched like 2 seasons, and I probably will continue later. But I love Buffy. It's a great show. Hashtag Willow for life. Hashtag Willow fan for life. But anyway, hashtag best character Willow fan for life. But yeah, so Dean and Sam discover this, and they discover, hey, maybe Dawn Stark and his wife. And it's revealed that Dawn Stark and his wife are witches and wizards who get revenge on each other. Get revenge on each other. Get revenge. Get revenge on each other. But Dean and Sam are able to make them realize that, reconcile, and make them realize that they do love each other. Meanwhile, Dean and Sam go back to, and the Leviathan from the last episode, which I forgot to mention, his name was Chet, and he was burning a guy, and he showed his CGI face, because the Leviathan have this weird CGI face thing. So, yeah. He follows them, but is electrocuted by Dawn Stark. That doesn't remind me of Dawn Brothers. Dawn, Avatar. But Dawn Stark helps them, and he's like, hey, why'd you help us? And he's like, well, you helped me with my marriage, so thanks a lot, bro. So in episode 6, Dean and Sam are we start with this bank robbery where Dean and Sam show up until they start holding people at gunpoint, and he even puts people in a room and mows them down. That's not Dean and Sam. So that's not the Dean and Sam we know. But it's actually not the real Dean and Sam we know, because our Dean and Sam are actually interrogating Chet. So Dean and Sam see that that two other Dean and Sam are doing this, and they discover that these two Dean and Sams are actually Leviathan impersonations. Are actually impersonations. Impersonations of them. So yeah, meanwhile the cops are trying to arrest Dean and Sam. Then fake Dean and Sam enter this coffee shop and have the guy film it, and have this one customer film their murders, so then they can send it to the cops. So the real Dean and Sam get arrested while the fake Dean and Sam drive off. So Dean tries to tell the sheriff, hey, we're innocent. There's actually Leviathan fake knockoffs of us killing people. But the guy's like, yeah, I don't believe it until he sees them actually take the form of one of the cops. And then he's like, hey, Dean, I'll let you go. So Dean meets up with Leviathan Sam, and Sam meets Leviathan Dean, and Leviathan Dean drops a bomb that Dean killed Amy. So now Sam knows, and obviously he's not happy about it. Yeah, he even gives up. He even tells them, "Hey, I can't trust you right now. I'm out," because that happens in every season where Sam discovers something that decides he can't trust Dean until next episode, where he comes back, because it's supernatural, and they'll continue doing this until the 15th season ends. So yeah, so Sam decides he can't trust Dean anymore. Until the mentalists were where the psychic woman gets killed by a spirit, and Dean runs into Sam at town in the same town, but Sam's like, yo, dude, I'm not ready to trust you. I'm not ready to trust you right now, but they know that they must. Dean yells at Sam yells at Dean for killing Amy, but Dean's like, yeah, it was just another, like, she was a monster. She would have, if I hadn't killed her, she would have went on killing anyway. Which makes Sam realize that, hey, he's right. Yeah, they just make up. He's just like, you were right, Dean. Amy was a monster, and she would have just went on killing anyway. So, yeah, this whole episode was... So, in episode 8, Sam calls Dean, telling him to come in his FBI suit because he's getting married to Becky Rosen. Remember her? This creepy fan that loves Sam and Dean so much? Yep, Sam is getting married to her, but it's not under his supervision, as Becky is drugging him and playing a love spell on him to make him fall in love with her. Yeah, she's drugging him and making him not remember it. Yeah, because Dean's like, isn't it pretty weird that you're allowing your wife to join in on all of our adventures? But then Sam's like, dude, she's my wife. But then it's revealed that, guess what? She actually, and we also meet a new character who becomes a recurring character in the series, Garth, who's the best character. Garth is like the pseudo Bobby of the show, and he's a hunter just like Dean and Sam, and he becomes a recurring character after this episode. He even appears in this season again. And I love Garth. He's the best. He's the best character. And if you don't know Garth's actor from anywhere, he was that cop on Breaking Bad that arrests Badger in the Better Call Saul episode. I just love Garth now. So I pretended to, yeah. So Dean and Sam discover it. Oh, yeah. So Sam discovers that Becky is actually drugging him and playing a love potion on him that makes him fall in love with her without him knowing, because she's met this Crossroads demon guy that says, hey, I will help you get Dean and Sam. I will help you get Dean and Sam. And she's like, okay. But the thing is that he doesn't really like her. So Sam, she eventually runs out of the potion, which causes Sam to return back to his normal self, and he's kind of all whacked out that he actually married this crazy girl, and she kind of, like, she just said that how she's lonely and needs a partner, and Sam's like, you can be lonely and need a partner, but you shouldn't be drugging them full of love potions that get them to love you, woman. Because after she and Chuck broke up, I guess she just, I don't know what happened to him, but, so she eventually, she goes to the demon and is like, hey, I'll give you more love potion, give me what you want, but it's actually, it kind of looks like she says yes, but actually she tricks him and puts him under a spell, which is eventually done by Crowley. And this is kind of the first time Becky and Crowley met since she's the one that led Dean and Sam to him in the real Ghostbusters episode. And he doesn't like Leviathan because Dick Roman, the leader of the Leviathan, who I forgot to mention, said no to teaming up with him. And now he has a thing against the Leviathan. So Dean and Sam are like, so Sam pulls an annulment so it can pulls paper annulment so it can act like the marriage never happened. And Garth kind of looks like he's into Becky, but Dean's like, yeah, no, don't. He kind of looks like he's into Becky, but Dean's, says, no, don't. In this episode, the Leviathan have this big plan. So Dean and Sam discover this guy hung up into a tree after he was killed by a monster. So they go there and they go to Bada Boom Burger or something, whatever it's called, and eat some meat. But that meat causes Dean to become kind of dumb. And his jokes aren't funny, and he becomes kind of dumb. So they discover that this is a Leviathan. This is a Leviathan plot. This is a Leviathan plot somehow. And it's just a Leviathan plot. So what happens is that they go and talk to Dick Roman, who's the main bad guy, and they spy on him, but he discovers that he's making the Leviathan version of that little girl that turned Dr. Gaines eat itself. But Bobby gets captured and it's like, hey, you can let this go. But he's like, no, I won't, you idiot. So during the fight, there's a gunshot, and they discover that there's a hole through Bobby's hat because because Bobby has been shot in the head by Dick Roman. So they take Bobby to the hospital, where Bobby starts going through this like weird trippy scene where we literally get these scenes from last episode, but he goes in and Bobby's like, dude, that feels something weird. There's something going on in the real world, and he's feeling it, and yeah. So then there's this scene where we get his childhood about how his father was an abuser who would beat his mom. Bobby shot him, and then what? And the mom was like, "Dude, what were you thinking?" We got Rufus cameo, and yeah, and then we meet Bobby's raper, who convinces him to join him. Meanwhile, in the real world, Bobby tragically dies. So in episode 11, it's been weeks since Bobby's death, and Dean and Sam, more Dean, is kind of feeling the effects of it. Yeah, so Dean goes with Frank Bobby's friend who he met in the slash fiction episode. Forgot to mention him. He's the one that gave Dean and Sam their fake identities. So now he's kind of like their friend now. Meanwhile, yeah. So we see this guy hanging out in a diner when he gets drugged and gets knocked out while following a girl. So Sam helps that girl's dad, played by Madison Lachlan. If you know her, she played Evelyn Sharp on Arrow. And yeah, too bad her character on Arrow didn't go anywhere. But he helps her, and this girl proves that she's a pretty good hunter. She was able to get up. Yeah, so Sam follows the exact same case and meets the girl, but she reveals that she's actually a vampire along with the waitress that served them, and they knock Sam out, and Sam gets put in the same warehouse as Chrissy's dad. That's Madison Lachlan's character, or Madison McLaughlin's character. I'm gonna call it Lachlan. I don't know, but anyway, but Dean locks her up. Dean calls her and is like, "Hey, who's this?" And she's like, Sam said to call if anything happens. So Dean discovers who these people are because he hunted them a while back, but Sam doesn't know, so he got captured. So he and Chrissy go team up, but he locks her in, but she immediately gets out off screen and gets captured until it's revealed this was a part of her plan where she injects the vampire. Dean she injects the vampires, causing them all to blow up. So they talk to the dad and they're like, "Hey, you need to get your daughter out of the hunting business because we know what she needs to have a normal life, and we know what it's like to grow up in the hunting business." So in episode 12, in episode 12, Dean and Sam are hunting a thing when Dean attacks Kronos, the Master of Time, and gets sent back to 1944. So he meets Elliot Ness, and Dean loves Elliot Ness. So they team up to stop Kronos because he's pretending to be a normal guy with a girlfriend. But they know, so they have to have Dean. So meanwhile in 2012, because that's when this episode took place, and that's when the show takes place. Because every year once the show goes off break and then goes into a new year, also does the show in universe. So back in 2012, Sam and Sheriff Mills, who is in this episode for some odd reason, she knows about Bobby's death, and and she helps Dean. So they're able to get Dean back out of 1944 and back in 2012. Yeah, but anyway. So in episode 13, there was these random attacks by people. So Dean meets this girl this girl named Lydia, played by Elena's aunt from the Vampire Diaries, and played by Elena's aunt from the Vampire Diaries, and he also, yeah. So they get it. So they do the dirty like all people do, and it's revealed she's actually pregnant with Dean's baby. So she tries to. So they reveal that the baby's name is Emma, and she's a part of. And it's revealed that Lydia is a part of this Amazonian tribe, who sleep with men just to then kill them later. But just to then kill them later. So Emma grows. So Dean watches her, and he hears her talk as an infant, and it's kind of like, huh? So then when Dean goes back to her house, she's already at age, 12? At age, 10 in, like a day? So Dean's kind of like, when I saw her, she was a baby, but now she's, like, a kid? What's going on? So Sam, for some reason, like all the other shows, doesn't believe what Dean's talking about, because it's this show. And for some reason in this show, so she gets branded and she's now an adult, played by Alexis Fast. Who, if you don't know who Alexis Fast is, she played Missy Bender in the Benders episode back in season 1. So to see her come back as Emma is kind of cool. So she pretends to be Dean. So they talk to this professor who reveals to Sam that the Amazonians don't send their daughters to kill their fathers. So the Amazons have sent Emma to kill Dean. But she pretends I'm told they're making me do things I don't want to do. Please help me. But Dean sees this, and as Emma's about to kill Dean, as Sam shoots her. So yeah, Sam shoots Emma. So Emma's dead now. And Dean now swears off any relationship with women that's going to give him children. In episode 14, Dean and Sam investigate this clown show called Plucky Pennywhistle's Magical Menagerie, which is So, where people are coming to, where people's imagination are coming to life and killing their parents. No, I'm not making this up. So it's revealed the main mastermind is this guy whose brother drowned and his parents didn't do anything to stop, didn't do anything, even though he tried to call for help. They didn't come out to save their son. So now he wants revenge by killing the parent, by making people's wishes come true and killing them. So he reveals that Sam has a fear of clowns, like we've done so many times. So he makes clowns come to life and attack Sam. But Sam's able to make them attack each other, or makes them blow up glitter. This was a terrifying episode. So in Repo Me, we get a flashback to 4 years ago. Yeah, a 4 years ago episode. We got a 4 years ago flashback. Yeah. We get 4 years ago timeline where Dean and Sam are helping this guy who's been possessed by a demon named Jeffrey. So yeah, so they're able to make Jeffrey, release Jeffrey from the demon. So yeah, from the demon serial killer, and they tell Jeffrey they exorcised him, but no, they let him leave. So you're in present day, Dean and Sam discover that the demon serial killing demon is back. So they call Nora, one of their friends from that timeline, one of their friends from that episode, from that year, and tell her about this thing. So they call Jeffrey, who's now in in rehab, has his life together, and is now fine. So he kind of freaks out, but it's actually revealed that was actually evil. Ooh, he was evil, and he actually enjoyed the demon being inside of him. So he kidnaps Nora's son because first he pretends to be a good guy, but then Nora reveals that he actually kidnapped her son. So Sam tries to call Dean. Dean was kidnapped by Jeffrey. So what happened? It kidnapped by Jeffrey. Was kidnapped by Jeffrey. So Jeffrey tries to use his spell to summon the demon, but instead of summoning the demon goes into the sun and has this weird, creepy thing where he's like, "Oh, hey, Jeffrey, I don't need you anymore." But he's like, "I want you going to me." But he's like, "Dude, you were like 4 years ago. I don't need you anymore. But this guy, I need him." And he's like, "No," and gets into a fight. So Nora uses the spell to release her son. So, yeah, but they end up killing Jeffrey anyway because he was about to kill them. So, episode 16. People are dying because of these cursed objects that are being sold by this guy. But to realize that the leader of this weather place of this photo place is being possessed by a Leviathan. So Dean and Sam must take her out. So her sister. So they talk to this guy who's holding up he's holding up how this girl was killed. This girl was killed by spinning ballerina slippers, and there was a bunch of other people killed. So they call him, but they know that if they call, so the two, Joyce and George, were the possessed Leviathan people, say that they don't want, Joyce is really annoyed. George is really annoyed by Joyce. So what happens is that he's really annoyed by Joyce. So what happens is that he attacks him, and he attacks her and helps Dean and Sam escape. And he's like, "Why'd you help us?" And he's like, "Because I really don't like Joyce." So in episode 17, Sam gets trapped into a mental institution because of the fact is that Lucifer is back in his head. Is back in his head. So Dean gets a call from the hunter who says he knows a friend named Emmanuel, so a demon attacks Sam for name Emmanuel. So Dean kills him, and someone says, "Who's that? What is that?" And that person is actually Castiel. He didn't die, but he actually did. He was planning on dying, but the fans were so upset about his death that they begged the writers to bring him back. So they bring him back in this episode. But he's kind of an amnesiac now, and he doesn't remember being Castiel. He thinks he's always been Emmanuel. And he's like, "How'd you get the name Emmanuel?" Babebooks.com. So Dean goes into this convenience store with a bunch of demons until he's saved by Meg, of course, because she hasn't been in the season and she wants to kill Crowley. Because of course she does. And so Dean's like, "Yo, hold up, Castiel doesn't think he's Castiel, he thinks some kind of Emmanuel. So why don't you let him think that he's Emmanuel?" So she does, and until Sam's in trouble where they're like, "Dude, you were Castiel." And he's like, "I'm the Castiel guy you were talking about." So Emilio uses Castiel's powers to regain his memories of being Castiel until he's like, "I'm done." So he's like, "Yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done." But then they're like, "Yo, dude, Sam." So they break in, and Castiel's like, so Sam first thinks it's an illusion, showing that when he tries to save Sam, he shows that he still thinks Castiel's something in his head. So he's like, "Hey, the walls have been broken down and they cannot be refixed." So he uses his power to send loose from Sam's head to his own, causing him now Castiel is in a mental institution overrun by new nurse Meg. yeah, Meg decides to become a nurse to overlook Castiel. In episode 18, we get the return of Garth. Remember him from episode 8? And he is yeah, and he and Sam fight a ghost that you can only see when you're liquored up, because there's this little girl who accidentally drinks some of her mom's liquor, which she thought was orange juice for some reason, and because it looks the exact same. So she gets drunk and sees the ghost, and it kills her mom. So then Garth gets liquored up, and he sees the ghost. So they have to destroy the ghost, and that ghost looks like something you'd see off The Ring. Something you'd see off The Ring. I've never seen it, but I know what the Ring girl looks like, and that looks exactly like her. So in episode 19, yeah, in the last episode, Dee and Sam revealed that so they have Bobby's flask, which can bring him back bring his ghost up, can bring his ghost back, and now his ghost is haunting them, but they never realize that Bobby's ghost is actually alive. Bobby's ghost is actually alive. So yeah, they never realize it. It's weird. They never realize it. So in this episode, their friend Annie is mysteriously disappeared. Yeah, this girl is never seen. It's revealed that she and Sam actually slept together when Sam had no soul, and Dean slept with her prior to that. And Bobby slept with her. So yeah, so Sam slept with her when he had no soul. So yeah, that's the storyline, and it's kind of weird. Yeah, so they discover that there's this guy who's holding them all captured, and when one of the guys in there tries to tell them to leave, that guy gets killed. Yeah, we have William Van Ness, who's the main villain of the episode, and Sam and Dean discover that Annie was actually killed by him, and now Bobby so once they discover that, but they now can actually see Bobby now, and now Bobby is with them again as a ghost. So in episode 20, Dean and Sam are discovering something that's going on with Leviathan, with Dick Roman Inc. And it's actually with the help of a girl named Charlie, who actually works in Leviathan Inc. And she works in Dick Roman Inc. And she discovers all of, he says, hey, use this thing to discover what Frank wrote, and she discovers everything about the Leviathans and about how they work in Roman Inc. and everything. So Dean and Sam discover are like, hey, we need your help on stopping Roman Inc. So yeah, and she's kind of the best character. I kind of like her. Hopefully she comes back next season, because I kind of like her. And and I like how she's a hashtag Hermione Granger fan, because I'm a kind of a hashtag Hermione Granger fan. So one Harry Potter movie, I like Hermione Granger in that. So yeah, she always looks for Hermione to help her do stuff. So yeah, so Roman eventually discovers it, and Dean and Sam kind of discover that Bobby's kind of becoming a vengeful spirit as he attacks Roman. And so yeah, so after this, Charlie tells Dean and Sam to never contact her again. But I have a feeling that this is not the last time we'll see Charlie. Okay, so yeah. So in episode 20, so in episode 21, we meet Kevin. We meet Kevin Tran, who is a normal college student, and he's played by Ryan Choi from the Arrowverse. Actually, he was only in 2 crossovers, but he's from the Arrowverse, and he's this normal college student who's actually a prophet of the Lord, and Dean and Sam uses the word of God, and it activates his powers unknowingly. So yeah, so they go to the place where Castiel is at, and Castiel's now like puppies and rainbows and bumblebees are my favorite thing. Yay! Because now they're making him a jokester. They're making him now this kind of version instead of the serious version we have for season 4, 5, 6. For 3 seasons, they're making him now a guy that likes puppies and rainbows and all this stuff. Puppies and rainbows. Puppies and rainbows. They're making him that kind of guy now. So what happens is that it's revealed that so Meg and Dean and Sam team up and they get Kevin into the mental institution where they help him out and discover that he's a prophet. So yeah. But they finally get him home until he's captured by Edgar. He's captured by Edgar. So Edgar has him in. So Edgar takes him hostage. So Bob reveals that Dean and Sam need 3 things to kill the Leviathan. They have the prophet. They need the demon blood from Crowley. And they need the thing of an alpha. So they go to this place where alphas live, where this girl named Emily, she reveals, hey, she's actually a good person. She was actually captured by the vampires as a kid, but it's actually revealed that she actually is talking on the phone with the vampire, with the alpha, and Bobby's like, oh, you conniving little girl, because she's actually evil. So Bobby becomes, as soon as he sees Dick Roman's face, he becomes a vengeful spirit again and possesses the maid on a revenge quest to finally kill Roman. Because now Bobby's gone too far and now he has to be put down so they can finally put his spirit to rest. So Dean and Sam. So once he reveals that Edgar is there, they lock Dean and Sam in. But Edgar reveals that he's actually betraying them and he's actually trying to kill him. And so Dean and Sam kill Edgar, but we never see what happens to him. So I'm just gonna say he's dead. And So what happens is that Dick Roman summons Crowley and is like, hey, give this fake blood to Demon to Dean and Sam and say it's yours, so it'll lead them right to me. But he doesn't do that, and he says, hey, this could be mine. I met with Roman, he said you want me to give this fake blood. It could be mine or it could be not, so here, take it. So but he doesn't like him, so he betrays him. So meanwhile, Dean and Sam, so Bobby leaves the woman's body only for him to see Dick Roman's face on a newspaper and repossess her, because it proves that Bobby's going out of control now. Oh yeah. So episode 23, Survival of the Fittest. Bobby, it's the final confrontation between Dean, Sam, Castiel, who's finally sane, and Dick Roman. And somewhat Meg. Meg is also there too, apparently. Yeah, Meg is also there too. She also wants to help. But what happens is that they all fight, and, so they give them blood. But Sam looks like he wants to, but they realize there was waves and leaves the woman's body, because he was about to kill Sam. And so they go. So Kevin Tran shows up to help. So Dean and Sam use this knife to kill Crowley, but it blows them all up. But it uses the knife to finally kill Roman, but it causes a big explosion. Sam discovers the aftermath, but then Crowley takes Kevin Tran because he's like, I need him. So he takes him. Meanwhile, we see Dean and Castiel in this random place. And Castiel says they're in purgatory. So where all the bad monsters live. And that's kind of where the season ends. So season 7 ended with Castiel becoming God. And this season ends with Castiel and Dean being stuck in purgatory with no way out. Hopefully we'll see season 8 to see if it can improve. But that's it for this video. And I'll see you next time for Supernatural season 8. Let's see where characters go from there. Boom.